Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I thought that I would do something a little different this time. I haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to go out and image, but I did pick up a new light pollution filter. So I thought I would compare that light pollution filter with my old light pollution filter, just to see if I could tell if there was a difference or not. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple images. I'm going to take 3 images over 3 nights. Target is going to be M42, and I am going to try and keep everything as consistent as possible to do this as scientifically as possible. And so with that, we will have the first night I'm going to be shooting with no filter, no light pollution filter. The second night I'll be using the new IDAS filter that I purchased. And the third night I will be using my older Orion SkyGlow imaging filter. So we're going to get those 3 days of imaging done, and we will go into the computer and process those images and see if we can tell a difference between the 3 images. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep this as consistent and scientific as possible. So yeah, let's get this done, and let's see if there's a difference. Let's see if the IDAS filter is better than the Orion SkyGlow filter. Okay, so let's give you the story. So it's now been probably about 2 weeks. Originally I had planned to image with my IDAS filter and also image with the Orion SkyGlow filter, but when I started imaging, a couple things. I had clouds roll in, so I had weather, obviously, and the other thing is I had a 99% full moon the first night. So I think that affected my gradient, my light pollution gradient. So I kind of scrapped that whole deal, and then I had more clouds, and so now the last 3 nights and the other thing that I had neglected, or that I didn't like, was that I didn't have a control. So I only used the filters. I didn't shoot without a filter. So I felt that I needed to shoot without the filter to see if I could even see a difference between no filter and the light pollution filters. So for the last 3 nights, I've been able to shoot. Like I said, the target was M42. I figured that would be a good target to shoot, since that's kind of a standard object. And what I did, I really wasn't going for, I didn't care if I blew out the core or not, so I was trying to capture the light pollution. So I took 5-minute exposures. I only did 6 exposures for each, but rather than do them all in one night, I wanted to keep the object in the same part of the sky for each filter. So the first night I shot with no filter, and I shot M42 from about 35 degrees above the horizon to 40 degrees above the horizon. The second night, I did the same thing with the IDAS filter. Shot it for 5-minute exposures for a total of 6 frames, and again from about 35 degrees to about 40 degrees in the sky. And I was shooting over to the east because that's where I have a light dome, like to the southeast. The third night, I used the Orion SkyGlow imaging filter, and again I did the same thing. 300 seconds, 6 exposures from 35 degrees to 40 degrees in the sky. So I tried to keep everything as consistent as possible. So let's go ahead and open up these files. And I've already looked at them, but let's just go ahead and open them up here. Okay, we've got no filter, which was taken on the 23rd. We've got the IDAS filter, which was taken on the 24th, and the SkyGlow light pollution filter, which was taken on the 25th. So with these nights, I didn't have to deal with any moon glow, anything like that. So I was basically just dealing with the light pollution and the light pollution dome to the southeast of my house. So let's go ahead and start. And I know you guys probably have already seen how to do this. But we'll just do that. So we're gonna go ahead and start processing these images. All right. So the reason, so as I'm doing this, I'll try and talk, and I will try and, geez Louise, my mouse is not working. I will try and explain why I got the IDAS filter. So I use the ZWO filter drawer, and what I found after purchasing it was that my Orion SkyGlow imaging filter didn't, it screwed into the, because it was a 2-inch filter, so it fit into the drawer, but I was unable to get the drawer into the little holder because the filter was too fat. The filter cell, the mounting cell, was 7 millimeters thick, and I needed to find a filter that was a little thinner. So after calling around and speaking with some technicians, I found that the IDAS filter was 5 millimeters thick, and that one should fit in that drawer pretty easily. So I went ahead and got that filter. All right, so we've changed everything to 16-bit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and do our thresholds, and I'm going to try to get these as close to possible the same. So here we've got 63. Okay, we can start to see a gradient come here. So let's just see if we can get to 62. So 62 is a little too much, so we're going to go back to 63. All right, and then I'm going to pick a white point, or I'm going to pick the, I'm going to pick the dark point, and the dark point that I am going to pick is going to be, let's just say right here in this little spot right here. All right, so we're good there. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Layer, new adjustment layer, threshold. And if you can hear my dogs, I apologize. They don't care whether or not I am recording a video. Okay, so 48. Look at 47. 47 looks good. Okay, 46 is a little too much. So we're going to go 47. All right, and if I can remember where I picked that point. Right here. So that point was right around in here. So I'm gonna try and pick the same point or close to it. That way my color balance and everything will supposedly be pretty close. Okay, so now let's do the SkyGlow filter. Again, layer, new adjustment layer, threshold. So at 49, we can start to see a gradient come up here in the lower right-hand corner. So let's look at 48. 48 is too much, so let's go back to 49. All right, and then let's pick that same spot. So it's right there. And it's about right there. Okay, so we've picked our spots. So now we just need to get rid of the threshold layer. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch these out, and I'm going to try and stretch them out to roughly around the same place. So we're going to do a Control L. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to do like a color balance. So I'm going to hit this this little dropper here, set the gray point, and then I'm going to do a Control, click right in there. So that's going to take my histogram and line everything up together. So we're good on that one. So let's do the same thing here. Control L. And then we're going to Control click. So that lines that one up pretty good. And then we're going to do Control L. Set the gray point. Alright. So right now they're starting to kind of look a little better. So let's go ahead and stretch this one out. So we're going to do Control L, and I'm going to try and keep these as consistent as possible. I'm going to go about halfway here, and then I'm going to do Control L again, and I just drag the black point, do Control L again, about halfway, Control L, and then here I'm going to take it up to about right at that point there, and then we're just going to do Control L, bring this down, alright, so we're going to take it down to about here. I'm going to try to get it to about 12. Okay, so now we're going to do Control L, and if you can see here, my red is a little higher than the others, so we're going to go to our red channel, and we're just going to bring it down to match. Alright, so that's that. The next thing I want to do with this image, I'm not going to do any color adjustment, I'm not going to do any curves or anything other than just what I have, is I want to separate the stars from the nebulosity. So we're going to, and I'm going to use Star Exterminator, so we're going to duplicate this layer, and then we're going to duplicate the layer again, and then we're going to go to this layer here, and we're going to go to Filter, RC Astro, Star Exterminator, and we're going to run Star Exterminator. This is going to take a little while, So I'll probably cut this out until we get to the point to where we have our starless image. Alright, so we are almost done with the Star Exterminator. Figured I wouldn't bore you with all that. Okay, so here is our starless image. So the next thing that I need to do is I need to duplicate this layer and then hide that. Subtract this layer. Merge this layer down. Take this layer, put it on top, put that, and then this layer gets to become linear dodge. Okay, so here's our image. So we've got our stars. Whoops, we've got our stars, and we've got our starless image there. So I'm going to go ahead and process the other two, and then I'll do Star Exterminator on them, and then we can start to compare them. So let's just get that done real quick. So we are back. I really like Star Exterminator. It does a really good job of removing stars and not leaving a lot of artifact. I can't recommend it enough. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at all three of our different images. So we've got, this is the no filter. So if you look at the color, you know, got a lot darker grays and stuff in here. I mean, but that's not really what we're looking at. The IDAS filter gives me a little more of a reddish tint to it. Kind of brings out the Running Man and the red inside the. I kind of like that. I haven't done any color correction. I haven't done any curves adjustment or anything. It's just all been levels. So this is the IDAS filter, and this was the SkyGlow Orion SkyGlow imaging filter. So that looks pretty similar to that one. This is a little blander, I would say, a little grayish, and this one we do have some reds in here. But let's go ahead and look at them all starless, because we'll be able to see the light pollution gradients as I stretch it a little more. So this is the non-filtered. So let's go ahead and do a levels adjustment on this, and we're just going to stretch this thing until we start seeing. Okay, so I'm already seeing a gradient starting down here at the lower right and kind of coming up. So we're just going to stop right there. So we're at about 22. And now let's look at the IDAS filter. And we're going to do the same. We're just going to bring that mid-level up until we get to about 22. So this is about 22. I can still see, but it looks a lot more uniform. I don't really see so much as a gradient as I just see a bunch of noise. And like I said, this is only a 30-minute total integration, so the image is pretty noisy. So let's go ahead and look at the SkyGlow filter, and let's bring that up. So again, I am seeing some gradient here come in. Not as bad as no filter, but I can still definitely see gradient. It's not that bad. It looks like the light pollution filter is doing something. So let's go back to no filter. I see a gradient here. I don't know if the YouTube compression is doing it justice or not, but it's pretty light. I'm gonna stretch this a little more just so we can kind of go past it to see if we can. So we're just like overstretching the crap out of it now. All right, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it looks like no light pollution filter. I can definitely see a gradient because up here in this corner it's pretty dark, and down here is pretty light. So I can definitely see the gradient there. Like I said, I've pretty much overstretched this a lot. This is the IDAS filter. This is a lot more uniform, so I'm not seeing, I still see a gradient, I just don't see it as much. It's more uniform. And the reason why I had purchased the IDAS filter was because it is advertised as being able to deal with LED light pollution. So that's where I was having most of my issues, I thought, was with the LED light pollution. And then the SkyGlow. Again, the SkyGlow is not a bad filter. It's a good filter. It seems to do the job. I still do see some gradient, but not as much. If we look at the transmission graphs, where is it at? Okay, so here's the transmission graphs for the filters. So the top one is the Orion SkyGlow imaging filter, and the bottom one is the IDAS LPS-D3 filter. So one thing that you may notice is that you've got the one peak here, the larger peak, and then two additional peaks here. On the IDAS, you've got the one peak, the longer peak, and only one peak here, and then you've got the red spectrum here. So what the IDAS shows you in this graph is the different types of light pollution and where they fall in this graph. So if I were to say the difference between the IDAS and the SkyGlow would be right here in this like 625 nanometer range, which would probably fall around here, I would think. So I think, because these graphs are not to scale, like one is not to scale with the other, but I would think that if you were to look at the IDAS in this scale, I think it kind of comes up and then levels off here. There's no gap, is what I think. But I don't know. I'm not a filterologist. So, but anyways, so this is what we got, and then here this part of the graph shows us the different spectrums, wavelengths that you do want to capture. and here it's showing us O3, HA, S2, HY, HB, so it's showing us all those. So I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what do you guys think? Did we determine anything or not? Let's put the stars back. I don't know. The images don't look bad if I can get that gradient out, or just don't stretch it, don't overstretch it. Again, this is no filter. This is with the SkyGlow filter. This is with the IDAS filter. And this is with the SkyGlow filter. So I think what I will probably do is I will use the IDAS, but the SkyGlow filter doesn't look too bad either. So if I need to, I can use that also. What I did do for the experiment, just to kind of let you know, let me see, I'll get you the, I put everything up. So what I did do for the experiment was, this is my field flattener. So what I did was, because what I normally do is I will put the ZWO filter drawer right here in line, and then I would put the filter in this slot here. But because the SkyGlow filter would not fit in the filter drawer, I went on ahead for this experiment and put the SkyGlow filter in this location, straight off of the flattener, and then I also put the IDAS filter in this same location when I tested it, so that I could keep everything as the same as possible. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. Tell me if if I could have done something differently, or if I could have done something better. These types of experiments, or these types of comparisons, are really hard to do, and I thought it was going to be pretty easy, but there are just so many variables. I mean, you've got the sun, you've got when the sun is going to set, where your target is in the sky, whether or not you have clouds. You may have clear skies, but you may have high clouds that you can barely see that will affect your image. So I mean, it's really difficult to do a controlled experiment like this. So just take it with a grain of salt. But if you think there was something that you maybe noticed, or you think I might have been able to do differently, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And again, I mean, everybody that's watched my videos, I know this is a little different than the normal imaging video, but I thought I'd kind of branch out and do a couple little things differently. And I just want to say thanks to everybody who's watching, or who has watched any of my videos. I really appreciate it. I'm almost at, I think I'm at like 430 subscribers right now. If I can get to 500, I'd be just tickled pink. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody who's watched, everybody who's taken the time to stick around and watch my videos. But I don't know what to say about this. I think the IDAS filter does look a little better. I'm actually seeing some nebulosity out here on the sides that I could probably pull out if I actually had more integration time, and I took more time in processing. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this little comparison video between those two filters, and I hope to see you next time I post a video. Alright guys, thanks, and clear skies.